History is full of stories that stretch past reason, leaving behind only strange clues and unanswered questions. Here are 6 of the most unsettling, unexplained mysteries that continue to stump investigators to this day. 1. The disappearance of Brandon Swanson. On the night of May 14, 2008, 19-year-old Brandon Swanson was returning home after a small party celebrating the end of his college semester. He was a student at Minnesota State University Moorhead. It was late at night and he was driving through a rural area when his car slid off the road into a small ditch. The accident did not seem serious, and Brandon was uninjured. He called his father, Brian Swanson, asking to be picked up, stating that he was near Lynn, Minnesota. His parents immediately set off in their car, but Brandon could not clearly explain his exact location, as many rural Minnesota roads look identical. While talking on the phone, Brandon decided to walk along the road toward what he believed to be the lights of a nearby town. He kept walking while keeping the phone line open for about 47 minutes as his father continuously spoke with him. Suddenly, Brandon exclaimed, "Oh shit!" and the line went dead. His parents tried calling back. The phone rang, but no one answered. The phone did not shut off immediately and continued to ring for a while. The next morning, police began searching and found Brandon's car near a rural field. Surprisingly, it was not near Lynn, Minnesota, but in the area of Taunton, Minnesota, nearly 25 miles away. Brandon had misjudged his location. Despite a massive search operation, no clear trace of him was found. Cell phone records indicated his last call connected to a tower covering that rural farmland area. But GPS tracking in 2008 was not as precise as it is today. One theory suggests that Brandon accidentally fell into a creek or river in the dark. The area contains the Yellow Medicine River and marshlands, where mud could have covered his body. As of today, Brandon Swanson remains an officially missing person, and his body has never been recovered. 2. The Setagaya Family Murders. On the night of December 30th, 2000, in the quiet residential Setagaya area of Tokyo, the entire Miyazawa family was brutally murdered inside their home. The family consisted of Mikio Miyazawa, his wife Yasuko, their 8-year-old daughter, and 6-year-old son. Occurring just one day before the new year, the crime shocked Japan. The perpetrator used a knife in what appeared to be a planned attack. What shocked investigators most was the killer's post-crime behavior. Instead of fleeing immediately, the killer stayed inside the house for hours. He took food from the refrigerator and ate, used the computer, used the toilet, changed clothes, and rested on the sofa without showing any signs of fear. This unusual calm became a major psychological puzzle for detectives. The killer left behind extensive evidence: DNA samples, fingerprints, blood traces, clothes, and the murder weapon. DNA analysis revealed a rare blood subtype, and chemical analysis of sand particles found in the clothes suggested they matched coastal regions in South Korea or California rather than local Japanese beach sand, raising theories of a foreign connection. More than 280 officers investigated the case, comparing thousands of DNA samples and verifying over 16,000 tips without finding a match. Profilers suggested the killer was young, between 15 and 25 years old, and that his behavior reflected a desire for control and dominance. The case remains officially unsolved. 3. The Bennington Triangle disappearances. Between 1945 and 1950, a series of people mysteriously vanished in the forested mountain region of Glastonbury Mountain, Vermont. Midi Rivers, 1945. A 74-year-old experienced hunting guide who was leading 4 hunters. Walking ahead of the group, he vanished after taking a turn. Only his rifle was found on the ground. Paula Weldon, 1946. An 18-year-old Bennington College student who went hiking on the long trail wearing a red jacket. Witnesses saw her walking, and a couple reported she was just ahead of them before rounding a bend. When the couple turned the corner, she had vanished without a trace. A massive search involving over 1,000 volunteers, the National Guard, and helicopters yielded no clues, bodies, or signs of a struggle. This case led to the formal establishment of the Vermont State Police. James Tedford, 1949, a 68-year-old man who vanished from a moving bus while traveling home. Passengers confirmed he was in his seat, but when the bus reached the next stop, he was gone, leaving his luggage in the overhead rack. Local folklore refers to the region as cursed land, where compasses allegedly fail. To this day, there is no definitive explanation for the disappearances that occurred there between 1945 and 1950. 4. The Cleveland Torso Murders, the Mad Butcher of Kingsbury Run. During the Great Depression between 1935 and 1938, a serial killer targeted the impoverished Kingsbury Run area of Cleveland. Officially, 12 victims were attributed to the killer, though many investigators believe the actual count could be 20 or higher. Most victims were homeless or marginalized individuals, making identification difficult. The gruesome nature of the crimes horrified the public. Every victim was dismembered, with limbs and torsos separated, and several were decapitated. Precise cuts led forensic doctors to suspect the killer possessed medical or anatomical knowledge. Law enforcement officer Elliot Ness led the investigation and notoriously ordered the burning of the Kingsbury Run shantytown to flush out the killer, but no solid leads were obtained. The primary suspect was Dr. Francis E. Sweeney, a former Army surgeon with a relevant medical background and mental instability. Sweeney failed early polygraph tests, but a lack of direct physical evidence prevented formal charges. He later checked himself into a mental institution where he died in 1964. The killer also sent taunting letters to the police. The Cleveland Torso Murders remain officially unsolved. 5. The Walker Family Murders. On December 19, 1959, in Osprey, Florida, the Walker family, Clifford, his wife Christine, and their 2 young children, Jimmy and Debbie, were murdered in their farmhouse. Neighboring residents raised the alarm when they did not see the family the following morning. Police discovered that all 4 family members had been shot with a shotgun, and Christine had also been stabbed. There were no signs of forced entry or robbery. The only physical evidence recovered consisted of a shotgun shell, a clear footprint, and fingerprints that could not be matched at the time. In November 1959, the Clutter family had been similarly murdered in Kansas by Perry Smith and Richard Hickok, a case made famous by the book In Cold Blood. Due to similarities in method and timing, investigators suspected a connection. In 2012, DNA testing was performed on remaining evidence to check for matches with Perry Smith, but the samples were too degraded for conclusive results. After more than 60 years, the Walker family murders remain unsolved. 6. The disappearance of Benjamin Bathurst. On November 25, 1809, in Perleberg, Prussia, now Germany, British diplomat Benjamin Bathurst was traveling on a secret diplomatic mission during the Napoleonic Wars. He stopped at an inn called the White Swan alongside his assistant. After dinner, Bathurst went outside into the inn's courtyard to check on his horse carriage, while his assistant and servant stood nearby. Bathurst walked around one side of the carriage and failed to emerge from the other side. He vanished in seconds without any noise, disruption to the horses, or signs of a struggle. His coat, hat, luggage, money, and official documents were all left inside the inn. Subsequent searches of the courtyard, surrounding fields and forests, yielded no trace of him, though his coat and a piece of trousers were reportedly found in nearby woods days later. Theories range from abduction by French agents to voluntary disappearance or sudden death, but no concrete evidence was ever established. His sudden disappearance from an open courtyard remains one of history's most famous unsolved mysteries. Which of these cases creeps you out the most? If you love to know about mysterious incidents like these, subscribe to the channel. We upload mystery video like this every week.